There are a variety of conspiracy theories about why COVID-19 virus was released.
Right.
Released that our federal government has a plan to do a second Canadian-wide lockdown before the vaccination is available for all Canadian citizens. Okay, here's 3-part questions, rapid fire, all right? Could this lead to the mark of the beast?
Okay. First of all, Pastor Moses, I want to be very clear. I believe the virus is real.
Okay.
I think that's been proven. I know there's people saying it's a scam.
Yeah.
The virus is real. I mean, biologically, scientifically, people have proven we see the virus.
Right.
We know people that have died from the virus.
Yeah.
You know, or complications.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. So the virus is real.
Right.
Now, whether it was manufactured, whether it was released, that's an interesting question. And for what purpose? Now, let me say this. I believe that there are governments and authorities that are using this as an opportunity to overreach. At the very, very beginning, before anybody knew about COVID, go on my Facebook page and I said 2 things. This is about control, and this is about tracking people. I said it's about control, it's about tracking people, and it's about a vaccine. And so here we are. Do I believe the vaccine is the mark of the beast? I do not. It doesn't follow the description in the book of Revelation. However, Pastor Moses, the language, the control, the restrictions that are being put in place, you can certainly see where this is a precursor for what is about to happen. You know, whatever you may think about that individual that opened his restaurant in Toronto, but when I see 80 police officers and 8 horses to arrest a guy that is barbecuing, like you have to say to yourself, whoa, but across the street, there's hundreds of people in a Costco. Like you have to ask yourself, what is really going on when you go to certain locations now and they say, we don't take cash because, you know, it carries the virus. Well, cash has carried bugs forever, but all of a sudden we can't. So this whole idea of cashless society, this whole idea of, hey, if you don't take this vaccine, you won't be allowed to fly. You might not go to a gym. Who knows? Are they going to say to us in churches, if your people aren't vaccinated, they can't come and worship God? This is the language that surrounds end times and mark of the beast. Look at the debt. I don't know if you've heard on the news today, our own government is going to spend $100 billion, Pastor Moses, over the next 3 years. Our debt, our national debt, 38 million people, our national debt is approaching $1.1 trillion. Who's going to pay this back?
Unreal.
Who's going to pay this back? And so what is it doing? It's causing people, right? Number one, you're losing your job, you're losing your income, you're losing your independence. You have to rely on the government. This is why things like, you know, minimum income guarantee. In other words, what are we doing? We're empowering the lazy. You stay home, the government's going to give you a certain amount of money. But you know what? The government doesn't give you anything for free, Pastor Moses. There's always stipulations. In other words, if you accept this, then here are the things you're going to do and comply with. And then when they talk about things like, you know, you shouldn't own property, you shouldn't own your house. Well, the only way that can happen is they have to give you something to take something greater away from you. And because people are generally lazy, they're going to take it. They're going to take it because I'd rather have it for free and not do anything about it. So I don't think it's really conspiracy. I think this is the Great Reset. And people's minds and thought processes are being molded.
So what are your thoughts on the global reset that is coming?
So let me give you a biblical example. In the Old Testament, there's 2 types of slaveries, Pastor Moses, right? So first, when the children of Israel went into Egypt, they went into hard labor. Right? They were slaves. But then there's a second slavery when the children of Israel under Nebuchadnezzar and the Babylonians, they come in, you know, Daniel, Ezra, Nehemiah, all, you know. I want you to notice in that slavery, they were not under the taskmasters of Pharaoh. So in other words, they were taken out of their land, but God said to them, listen, marry, you know, do business, transact. In other words, Pastor Moses, they lived like they were free, but in actuality, they were slaves to what? To their mind. In other words, the Babylonians said this: you can do whatever you want, but we're going to control your mind and your thought process.
Right.
And so what we're living in today is a Babylonian system. In other words, we run around going, we're free, we're in a free country. We're not in a free country. I can't even put 11 people in the church.
Right.
That's not a free country.
Right.
But because they're telling you, we've got to protect you, we've got to watch out for you, well, we just believe because we believe everything we're told,
Right.
and we believe that we're free. But in reality, you can't even open up your restaurant without being arrested. We're not in a free country. We're told we're free because that's what they want you to believe. But in reality, the slavery of our day is a more dangerous one because it's a slavery of the mind.
Of the mind. Wow. Okay, last question on the rapid fire. What does the Bible say about the vaccine? Does it say anything about the vaccine?
Well, I mean, they didn't have vaccines in Bible times,
Right.
right? But let me, you know what? Let me say this, my friends, and maybe we'll close with this.
Yeah.
You know, there are vaccines that are good, Pastor Moses.
Right.
I mean, polio was defeated because of a vaccine. I mean, to suggest that everything is a conspiracy and that every vaccine is bad is simply not true.
Right.
History has proven that there are some good vaccines that have really helped people.
Yes.
My concern here is that never in the history of the world has a vaccine been created in 8 months. It hasn't been properly tested. Right? And we're just led to believe that, hey, this is the best thing for you. Oh, and by the way, it's going to take multiple shots, which means what? It's not really effective the first time, and one of them has to be transported in minus 80 degrees. Like there's just so many unanswered questions and inconsistencies. And so here's what I would say to people, to the governments and the authorities. We're online. Since you're the ones that are promoting this, why don't you and your families take it first? and let's watch what happens to you. And if you grow 4 heads, maybe we'll have to consider. Isn't it amazing how they want to give it to the most vulnerable?
Right.
Well, the most vulnerable are the most at risk.
Right.
Why would we give something that's unproven to the most vulnerable? What if it has an adverse effect? And by the way, there's no liabilities. You can't go suing anybody.
Right.
So here's what I say to you. Since you're promoting it, you take it first. Let's find out where you're at in a year, and then the rest of us will reconsider it. And that's as about honest as I can be.
Well, there you have it. There you have it. You asked, we answered.